Good evening to you. Thank you for
Good evening,
organizing
doctor.
Good
Seylan
evening.
this
Good
important
evening.
Good evening,
session.
doctor.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Yes. Uh, so this is an important topic because everybody is stressed these days, and the parents are equally stressed as well as the children who are on digital gadgets. So what happens is that they get into fisticuffs without understanding each other. So beyond the digital issue, I want to address the whole family issue of how to handle such a time as this, which we have not had before, where parents are equally stressed with the kids and they start fisticuffs with each other, sometimes parents behaving like children. I hope you don't mind me telling that. Now, slide number 3, you will see in slide number, okay, that is the how we think and do over an hour. So when we initiate, when we think and do, we initiation, navigation, successful in conclusion, and then we have the reward coming in on us. So we think and do with a neurochemical transmitter called dopamine. You don't have to worry about what it automatically comes on, and it'll work for about 40 minutes. So when you think and do for 40 minutes, it's called salience, focus, work to the point kind of thing. Either at studies or any other work, it'll go on like that. Then at the end of 45 minutes, you have a check back. The dopamine must come down. Serotonin, the neurochemical transmitter, must work to give you a check back, or in Sinhala you say a samalochane or a vichakshane. Serotonin always checks back to see how can that be improved. So you get a sense of I did well, I can improve. So this is not only a characteristic in study, but it is also it becomes your character. Whether you will work on improvement mode, looking back at your work and character and say, I need to improve. Children who are digitized, because they are dopamine driven, they think all they do is right. They only want to do the last thing they were doing, which is usually a digital game, and go on doing the same thing. Then they lose the check back. Then they think they are always right. They become very antagonistic, try to have a fight. At that point, parents must not have a fight. You must learn the science and patience, how to coach them out of this difficult time, because they are doing more online studies than normal. And there are other stressful factors, trying to cover up work that they have missed and so on. So if the dopamine is not allowed to come down, as this double curve shows, dopamine receptors change from physiological DA1 to, to addictive DA2. The child becomes like a soldier in a foxhole. I hope you have heard that term, soldier in a foxhole. He's doing the same thing repetitively without thinking about it. Can I have the next slide? So the principle here is, so I have said, keep every hour brain happy, stop depression and burnout. So digitized kids and adults are get easily into depression and feeling useless and joyless because dopamine goes down. Only you can make yourself useful. So you need to watch that others can't make you feel better. It doesn't work like that. For this, apply this hourly timetable so that you know that there's an invert clock, invert design to do things for 45 minutes. Then this you slow down, check back with serotonin working. Then you get satiety or a reward motive, and then you are ready for the next hour. This is called the design default mode network of thought. So morning, dad should sit with the child and draw up the timetable, preferably write it down before you go to work, because when things are going okay, mother makes it daily safe. But when things are not going okay, challenges are there, dad has to step in and own the problem. Now, it's a sad thing that when things go wrong, mother is the one who gets involved in it, and dad puts up his nose as if it's not his subject. Now, dad is there for the prize giving, dad is there for the sports meet when the son is winning. But when the fellow does some smelly thing, then automatically it becomes mother's subject. මේ ඔයාගේ ළමයානේ මේක ඔයා තමයි බලන්න ඕනේ kind of thinking. So I always on Friday evenings I have consultations. It's free of charge. When parents come with a problem, it's the mother who tells the problem. But we know unless the father takes charge, you can't direct the problem back to normalcy. Father is the solution. Father finds the solution. Father works out the solution. So when mother is talking, I turn to the father and ask him, now, how is it? How do you feel about it? Then he gives a helpless looks and he looks back at the mother as if it's the mother's subject. But I make the father to understand this is the father's subject. So I ask the father usually, what's your son's most favorite subject? Then he turns his head in a very helpless way, looking at the mother, because it's the mother who knows. So I took time over this. When a child is moving into a problem, it is the father's voice of confidence and working with the child that the child gets strength to walk back out of the problem. So, no point shouting, no point blaming. You must learn the course of mistake management. Can we just have a look at slide number 2, which I think we didn't look at it. We'll just have a look at slide now. Okay, let's proceed. 3 we looked, 4th one we looked just now, 5th one. Now this is a very important diagram to remember, even to learn to draw and show it to your child. You can see it's a brain. The front of the brain is where I have put PFC, which means prefrontal cortex, track number 1. This is the track where paninnata pera sita balanu. That is, we think and do, executive, empathic, good for me, good for others, decision-making process. That's how a child or adult will start thinking. This is the prefrontal cortex. And from here that we do this think and do, decision-making process, reflective, hitamata, creative, that is nirmanashili, initiation, arambhe, navigation, tarne, in conclusion, sarthaka nimava, and reward must come from inside. The child must used to feeling good. I did that study well, I did that chapter well, I did that section well, these are the sections I need to improve, is what serotonin will start making the child understand. Now you can see number 2 here is the other track that is available in the brain on the inferior aspect of the brain, just above your soft palate, which is called the amygdala, hypothalamus, hippocampus track. First one is called top-down regulation because we think and do. Here is the bottom-up regulation. That is, if you begin to slip on a banana skin that Sri Lankans throw on the road and here and there, when you start slipping, you automatically slip and do things to come back into normal equilibrium without thinking. So what do I mean by bottom-up regulation? If kids have been long on the digital screen, particularly with fast cartoons and fast digital games, especially after 6 p.m., I'll come to that, then they do bottom-up regulation, meaning they are not anymore hitamata. They are doing panin hitannata pera panala balamu. Let's try and see. Because what they were doing in the last hour is now navigating, pushing them this hour, do some more digital games. Then when it becomes worse, what they were doing last night, as they wake up in the morning, they take the laptop and start doing the same thing. So it is dyspathy, meaning it's not good for him, not good for his future, not good for anything. Impulsive, without thinking he gets into problems, and when you are past puberty, they get into sexual problems without thinking, gambling, experiment with drugs, repetitive, reflexive, and reactive. Boma prativedi, prativadi mode ekata egollo yanuma. So they want to experiment thrill, peril, Medically, we call it anti-reward system. Now, when a child has been too much on the digital screen, they get three symptoms. Next slide. They get three symptoms: uh, inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity. Inattention means any child should be able to read and study. This is true for adults also, for at least 45 minutes after the age of 10. Before the age of 10, a child can't study that long. That's why in schools, early classes are 30 minutes. Later, as years advance, you get into 45 minutes. What happens is a child, inattention means the child's attention span becomes short and shallow. They are avadhana. They can't study that long. They can't think that deep. So they are listening to the teacher, or they are looking at the book and saying, I know, but they have not understood. Attention span becomes shallow and short. No child is born brilliant, meaning the child may have the potential for brilliance, but you have to train brilliant. I have actually 4 books on this. I have sent 2 to Seylan Bank so that you can buy the 2 books. I have another book called, I have sent a book called Right Learning and Recovering Childhood. I have a book called uh, Children Are Heritage. Then I have another little more technical book called Parenting in a Digital Age. That also you must read. The 2 books I have sent you, you can read with kids of any age. This is what we are trying to practice with parents, to coach the child, be a friend to the child. And it is very important to have. Now, parents are so keen on studies after many tuition classes. They also sit with the child for studies, which is not a bad thing. But parental time with the child must be fun, pleasure, leisure. It can't become another tuition class. Then the child will get fed up. So parents must keep happy time, fun time, sporty time, play time with the children so that they get a balance. So inattention is a serious problem. In our center, we do certain brain exercises called empathic motor therapy. I think as we go down the slide, you will see where uh, we help the child to recover a good attention span, and we have had good results. Children getting back grades and so on. Children who were digitized. Now, this particular side is giving 5 lifelines. Well-organized meal times, happy family meal. Father must arrange the table, keep the plates, bring the spoons, because mother has been cooking. Fathers, what do you think? Will these things happen at home? You must appoint the family meal time, and father must be present at every dinner time. And during weekends, every meal time, you must do it together. All family members must come to the meal time. 5 lifelines. So well-organized meal time. If you cook home food, it is better. 7 p.m. happy family hour. Whatever you do, when you come home, father and mother, you must give up your smartphone for 2 hours. Even if Sri Lanka cricket team is going to whack the sixes and win the Asia Cup, you must have some family time without the smartphone. Maybe only exception is a cricket match, national cricket match. Otherwise, 7 p.m. must be happy family time. Then activity time with dad must be there. So dad, you must come home. Iru avarata yamata prathama. Before sunset, you must come home at least 2-3 days a week. And certainly during the weekend, you must give your evening time for little cricket. Even on the road, take children to the beach. The sand particle running on sand has a very definite advantage for the brain development, brain tract development. So I have a complete clip on this kind of exercises which I can't do today. So please send me a WhatsApp to my WhatsApp number. Don't phone. My WhatsApp number is 074 211 5011. There's one on this slideshow also. You can send to that also. The one I now mentioned is 074 211 5011. When you send or make a request for how to run the child's 12 hours from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Get best sleep routine. Child must see sunset. Not only child, you must see sunset. That is, come out of LED, come out of curtains, watch sunset from wherever you are for half an hour. Let the sunset change play on your brain, because that begins a secretion of a hormone called melatonin, which is the hormone that works through the brain in the night to make your brain bright and do the night program for the brain. Very important program. If you are messing around with the digital screen, 4K, 8K television, missing sunset, and in artificial LED light circumstances, you are not triggering the work of melatonin properly. Then your sleep suffers. Our sleep must be physiological. It's a good gift of God, our sleep is. And after 12 midnight, we begin to have dreams. So there is REM sleep and NREM sleep. During REM sleep, you have dreams. Initial dreams are not pleasant dreams. You suddenly see that Pangediyaka Mila has gone up to 1,000 rupees. You see nasty things in your dreams earlier. But as the 3-4 cycles of sleep happens, you wake up in the morning seeing a good dream, a happy dream, pleasant dream. If you are waking up in the morning with bad dreams, that means your sleep is disturbed. Now remember, drugs can't give you normal sleep. Therefore, protect your sleep. If you take alcohol in the night, you ruin your night brain activity. Then, if children are on the laptop or digital gadget late into the night, same problem happens. They get up in the morning and they say, can't go to school, teacher is not good, shoes are not good. That is because the fellow is grouchy and he can't remember what he has studied. So you must protect your sleep, please. And every morning, if the dad can draw up a timetable where the child writes it, so take a little time if possible. Then you ask the son or daughter, school airline kiyatada, how long studies are there? They will say 132. What will you do at 2? What will you do at 3? It's not a strict timetable, but helping them to manage their time. So at this time, I have to tell you that some children are good at mathematics, some are not. But if they don't do mathematics, they will not do management also. Because in the brain tracks, mathematics is connected to management, meaning simple time management. What they have to do at the age of 10, 12 or 14, you can't teach them after that. So I have to appeal to dads again, be your child's good friend, close friend, before the age of 13. Because at the age of 13, passing 13, their brain edits their tracks so that they have 50% of what they have done before 13, 14. After 14, they listen to peers more than you. So when you want the child to get 9 A's for O-level, it's too late. You are coaching the fellow, giving as much as tuition as possible, scolding the fellow. He's not listening to you. Because you must develop the habit of being the child's friend in the early years of life. All good habits are learned before the age of 5. Before the age of 3, never give the digital screen. I repeat, before the age of 3, never give the digital screen. That's advice of the American Pediatric Association. And if the mother takes alcohol, even a little, while pregnant, it affects the child's brain and it causes ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Many symptoms of ADHD, namely inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity, are also the symptoms of over-digitization. That is my research. If you send me a WhatsApp to my WhatsApp number 074 211 5011, I will send you my academic seminar presentation to the SLMA. Some of it you need to understand or show your son or daughter because they listen to science. Otherwise, they think they know the screen so much and that these parents are Hanamiti, Adahas and that kind of thing, old fellows, relics, they think like that of parents. So you have to learn the science. So when parents come for my Empathic Learning Center consultation with kids, I do the science for about 10-15 minutes for both parents and kids. Now this 24th Saturday, 4 p.m., 24th Saturday, 4 p.m., we have a major program at our center at 374 Leslie Ranagala Mawata, Colombo 8, 24th Saturday, September, 4 p.m., where we do sessions for parents and session for kids from the ages of 10 to 18. So you can make use of that. We have put a very nominal registration fee of 1,000 rupees. But it has a lot of activity and good counsel coaching for parents and teachers, parents and kids. If your kids have a problem like this or not, prevention is better than cure. There are resources available. Only thing, don't think you can take the child to a doctor and give drugs and solve the problem. Many parents think like that. This problem is solved by parents engaging the child, and it can be solved. I want to encourage you. Slide number 7. Next slide. Never give smartphones or pixel screen under the age of 3. American Pediatric Association. No screen during feed time. So from young days, keep the meal times carefully. Now I know it is easy to give a smartphone and feed the child, but you are ruining his brains and his habits. No cartoons or digital games after 6 p.m. You have to insist on this. Do your best not to allow them to take the digital gadget to their room. Don't fight with them, coach them early. Take a break after 25 minutes of screen. So while on screen, studying online, they can squeeze clay balls, again matty, bookshops have matty, or if they can, there are things called tweezers, or a coir rope ball, that is a lanu thing made up into a ball. They can do those things reduce the effect of the screen on the brain through the retina. So the digital screen is the most powerful stimulation retina knows, and it upsets the neurochemicals and the neuronal patterns of the brain. Never study with LED lights. And if you have 4K, 8K TV screens at home, it also adds to the problem because LED lights emanate blue frequency. Bedroom must not have LED lights. Washroom must not have LED lights. Where your son or daughter studies must not have LED lights. Now the market has yellow LED where they say effect is less. And of course the laptop screens have night mode. But when market creates a problem and gives a solution, you're a little wondering whether it's true or not. So keep your attention span for 45 minutes. Do not multitask with social media. And if you do 4 pages, A4 pages, handwriting in 2 languages, you don't get Alzheimer at your age. 4 A4 pages in 2 languages. Similarly, a child is able to learn 2 languages before the age of 5 by listening to parents and siblings. Ayaka. You can't learn languages on the screen. It's a lie. It's just a market trick. Screen is smart. Children on the screen become stupid. I call it Bala Aparade and Lama Apachare to give the child the screen under the age of 5. Next. This is our empathic motor therapy center in our empathic learning center. This is called grips and ropes, thrill sport. When a child is doing this, we organize teams to do this also. The child's attention span improves. So this is the method to get the children out of digital toxicity. So this is an innovative research project. You are welcome to with your kids and participate this and see on September 24th, 4 p.m. That is a Saturday. If not, you can send a WhatsApp and ask for a time to come and see, or use the place with your kid. So this is anyway good for language disabilities, brain brightness, concentration, even if the child doesn't have a digitization problem. It also encouraged dad to come to gymnasium with son. Yes. Next slide. So what to do to reduce digitization while online? Reduce LED light in vicinity. Night mode of laptop. Munch crunch stuff like pear, if you still can get apple. Because these children, when they are digitized, they say, I hate vegetables, I hate fruit. They don't want to eat a proper meal also. That's why it's important to get them to sit. Meal time is detox time. At meal time, oxytocins work and the child becomes much better. So at meal times, parents must not discuss the government. Parents must only discuss what the children like. Mealtime, father and mother must be very organized, very determined to make it the happiest time. If you recall, of our home, we best remember meal times. Tweezers or clay to hand, barefoot on choir mat. That is, while the child is studying online, if you put a lanupadura under the table and ask him to move his feet, sole of his feet on it, it reduces digitization. There are different medical reasons. I am not going into all the reasons. Don't multitask on two screens. Somehow prevent your child doing it. Don't allow them to flip screens. Then don't allow them to listen to music while studying. They will say, Ammi, that's they are that kind of request they direct to Ammi. I study better when I listen to music. That is not true. They sit longer. Music does not, when you are studying, you must not listen to music. Furthermore, if the child listens to hard metal, rock, that kind of music, they lose their recall and memory. The classical rhythms of Amartedeva and Victor Ratnaik, Jim Reeves and those classical fellows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the rap kind of music goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That disturbs memory. So don't allow them to listen to music while studying. Now don't fight. You have to negotiate it. But if from the young early days, put a child on music. To play a stringed instrument is better for brain, but keyboards is also okay. Get them to do music and sing, because music acts like a language. So music and singing acts like two languages and is a very good brain activity. Insist that they write what they study online. They must take notes while being online, and they must open their textbook and read it while online class is on. I hope all this is clear. This presentation can be sent to you. I suppose office also can, so that you remember the points. I am also recording this talk, so if you want this talk again, you can send me a WhatsApp number message to 0742 11 50 11 5011. Next slide. Next slide. Did you miss anything or this is correct? We'll go to the one before that, 9. Yes, 10 we can avoid, it's a technical slide. 11. Now these are the functional brain tracks of anybody's brain. First track I have named it empathic intuitive. That is how child or adult we understand ourselves, how we have developed in our internal communication, and mother is very important for that. Early years of bonding with mother gives us intimacy and internal confidence. Then empathic relational second track is how we relate to others. That father has to give confidence. So from the age of 3 onwards, father must be more and more available to the child. Third track is linguistic. I have already told you about the languages. Fourth track is logical managerial. That is how we plan. Initiation, navigation, in conclusion and reward. And these are the tracks, working tracks, do work tracks. Then we have the show work tracks, kinesthetic, acoustic, visual. Kinesthetic is how much movement you feel inside. Unfortunately, the digital screen increases the activity of those 3 last tracks, kinesthetic, acoustic, through visual. That's why the children can't wait in one place. And any sound and any bird going here and there, they get disturbed and they don't study any further beyond that. That is the problem of the digitized brain, which has gone into bottom-up regulation. I put a slide earlier, number 1 and 2. Bottom-up regulation is whatever comes their way, that stimulates them. They are not thinking and doing, the outside environment is influencing them. So we obviously understand that we must have our do work tracks well developed rather than the show work tracks. Yes. You can think for yourself what happens if show work people with a lot of show work tracks go to parliament. Big trouble for us. Slide number 12. 3 features of the digitization, which sometimes doctors diagnose as ADHD. Inattention, your study span has become short and shallow. Impulsivity, the child wants to quickly do something without thinking too much about it, caused by increased dopamine. Then hyperactivity, jittery all the time, doing too many things, doesn't finish one thing, don't put the puzzles back, don't put the clothes in one place, everything is in a jumble. So you have to train for those habits from the age of 5, even before the age of 5, you have to train them in those habits. Next. Consequences on school life, attention span and depth decrease, boredom, inability to focus or concentrate. Chronic fatigue syndrome of the young is they have been so much on the screen, dopamine comes down. They feel sleepy during class time. Learning is uninteresting, regular is boring, fantastic is the craving. So they increasingly try to do fantastic things and dangerous things. Then some apps promote suicide. So you would have heard of children trying to jump off screens and so on. Some gruesome things have happened. I had a case, sweet fellow, 12 years old, well-to-do parents, loved the child to be with the laptop all the time, even in the night. One night, he came crashing into his parents' bedroom saying, "A monster is chasing me." Monster came out of the laptop. It is a fact that many digital games have I'll have to use the word, unnatural effect. I might have to use the word even a demonizing effect. That is bizarre, violent, ghost kind of stories, and that kind of games are there. And this child said out of the screen came a monster, and then he started seeing that monster in every mirror and every glass. So the parents had to curtain everything, and a lot of trouble was taken to put it right. So moral of the exercise is, from young days, don't allow them to take the digital gadget to their room. And by 10:30, they must start getting ready for sleep. If not, they are their sleep gets disturbed. So school classes after 9, tuition classes after 9 in the night is not, in my opinion, counterproductive. So they get into thrill-seeking behavior, drugs and other things, recruiting anti-reward systems. They can start cutting themselves. Some time back, I had a girl coming to me about 16 years old. Parents were teachers, and the mother was saying, "Darling, show the doctor your arm." Then she was not doing it. Suddenly, she flipped her blouse back like this. There was a big gash, cut injury healed, about 3 millimeters wide. So it must have been a very big cut injury. And then she said very boldly, "It's like this, doctor. You have to experiment. Even death, you have to experiment and see." Of course, we know there's nothing to experiment and see with death. You don't come out of it. So kids can get that addicted. They get into isolated selfie behavior. Then we recommend that what you saw, those swings and ropes in our center, we have a 3,600 square feet area for these kids to do what looks like thrilling activities. So they like it very much, but it is all with a medical purpose of getting their brain tracts into order without giving them drugs. In fact, drugs can't get brain tracts into order. But many parents, rather than twice a week come for a thing like that, try to give drugs to the child and escape the problem. It will not work. Next slide. Medical effects of digital abuse. I have spoken for about 45 minutes or 40 minutes. Do you want to ask some questions, or I'll go on like this? I think I should mention a little more about morning. It's good to wake up with Irudava, that sunrise kids must see. If they break rest in the night playing digital games, what happens is they wake up very late, which is not good for memory, not good for bioclocks, not good for hormonal patterns. So many kids who break sleep like that and get up late get diabetes. There's a relationship between bioclocks starting with sunrise and insulin growth hormone, adrenocortical reflexes, and sugar behaving normally. You get up late because of digital activity in the night, that promotes obesity and diabetes. There are a lot of childhood diabetes. So what am I saying here? Adrenocortisol overdrive, pathophysiological fight, fright, flight. They're all the time, dashing doors, fighting with the sister, that kind of always saying, "I hate, I don't care." These are the words they use, and they don't like to eat vegetables and fruit because they have an effect of dumbing down dopamine in the system. They take red colored drinks, tippy tips, and that kind of stuff keeps their digital intoxication going. They are driven by the last hour's digital activity. So they are all the time wanting to do some more digital stuff. During dream, brain runs a software program much like defragmentation of a computer. These is of course a biological thing. In deep, healthy sleep, child's character grows and brain neuronally refurbishes. In sleep, new baby neurons are generated. Dendritic spikes from previous day's activities come to normal. Therefore, good, deep sleep is very necessary for adults and children. Sleep restores melatonin in retinal cells and prevents macular degeneration caused by too much blue light. So, a lot of benefits of good, proper sleep. Next slide. I don't know whether this is too technical for you, but this will perhaps make families realize how important it is to enjoy these good gifts God has given us. And next, yes, blessing and neuroscience of sleep. We dream during deep sleep. and REM sleep, usually between 1 to 4 a.m. We need to be in deep sleep. We should sleep by 11 p.m. During the dream, brain runs a software program. In deep healthy sleep, child's character grows and brain neuronally refurbishes. We did that. Next slide. Which music makes brain bright? Music is a language and is mathematics. Hence, right kind of music is powerful instrument to make brain bright, connecting left and right hemispheres, acting like a link language between managerial and creative processes. Music which takes you to contemplation and serotonin, oxytocin, GABA does the brain bright. ඒ කියන්නේ our music must take us to thinking. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. That kind of music. If we listen to daddy-biddy music that makes you want to do something, that music is not good to make brain bright. Music that causes you to do peril, risk, blunts your learning, recall, and memory. So during study time, no music. But training a child in music and singing and a musical instrument as a just the way you do elocution makes brain bright. So I strongly recommend that they do some proper music and singing, but during study time, no music. If you keep your home television on, anywhere in the house, that blue light will affect the memory. I repeat, if you keep the home television on, anywhere in the house, the child's memory processes, even your memory processes, will be affected. So don't have the habit of keeping television on all the time. Next slide. Earphones in the ear while studying will blunt learning. Playing an instrument and singing makes brain brighter and prevents Alzheimer's also. So keep singing the old songs you know, and if you can play a musical instrument, wonderful. Chord instruments like guitar and violin are better on the brain tracks, but any instrument is good. Next. That is, you playing music is different from you listening to music. Which music makes brain bright? I think I have done quite a bit. This is why some music styles are addictive, repetitive, do without think, and pushes kid to bottom-up regulation, blunting the top-down regulation of initiating, navigating, and end reward. So some musics can really affect their character also. Next slide. Shall I give some time to ask questions? Is it part of your program?
Yes,
Coordinator,
sir.
what do you say?
Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor. You can.
Do you like to ask any questions?
Yeah, forum is open for the questions.
Please remember, Saturday 24th 4 p.m. we have a big program in our center, 374 Leslie Ranagala Mawatha Borella. You're welcome, but please register on that telephone number.